I expected better from you. I really did. I expected that you would do what was right and cut waste and fraud and all of those things that you promised us before we elected you in office, but you're not doing that. You're creating a disaster, and I don't know what America's going to look like if this continues.
Did you ever think that your job would be impacted in a Trump administration?
No, absolutely not.
Jennifer Piggott was abruptly fired from her job at the Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Service here in Parkersburg, West Virginia, along with 124 other probationary employees. She'd voted for Donald Trump and thought her government job would be safe.
But to cut the knees out of the working class Americans just it doesn't make sense to me. You know, it's what's the checking account look like, babe? We went through our list of items on our budget and said, what can we get rid of? And we've gotten rid of all of those things, including cable. I had my last review on the 31st of January, and I had the highest rating that you can get on a review, less than 21 days before I was terminated for my performance.
Hey, welcome back to Nights and Weekends with me, Marcus, your host. I've been on a little bit of a hiatus, and kids get married, some kids graduate from school, stuff happens. But this is actually going to be pretty quick. So as you can see from the thumbnail, no, I don't regret voting for Trump. Almost nobody, well, actually there's an almost, no one that I know who voted for Trump regrets voting for Trump. Let us just make that clear. But as you can see from the clip that I threw in at the beginning, CNN will happily go find voters or a ton of voters that they put out their feelers to find that regret voting for Trump. But you have to ask yourself this. Why is it that when Biden was in office, they didn't have any segments like that? So I actually had to go look. Couldn't find them. But we're going to hop in here really quick. It's three things that I'm standing 100% down with Trump on. The border, the trans BS that was going on, and also when it comes to getting more foreign investment in this country, not just into the stock market or into the real estate market, but into actually making the goods and services that we need here. Again, I live in a part of the country where a lot of those jobs disappeared from, and we live somewhat in the ruins of what used to be. But we're going to hop right on in. That comes later. So I had wanted to, kind of show here, this is on my channel, but I had wanted to show that it's funny how CNN and all your other channels that you all watch will happily go and find voters that voted for Trump that regret it, right? But as you can see here, you put in Biden voters regret voting for Biden, CNN. It was 2 years ago. Hear why Biden voters are disappointed in him. You see anything of them saying that they regret voting for Biden? No, not at all. Zogby, I had to go look on the internet somewhere. Zogby is they're the only folks that actually went and asked people that. This was a survey done from April 5th, 2021 to April 13th, 2021. And they found out about 20% of voters regretted voting for Biden. But no other publication, no other polling organization went out and did that. Again, this should tell you about the bias that is implicit in your media sources. So, hey, Ed and Marcus, we're going to jump right on into the first thing, the border. Let us jump in, put in the clip of the caravans that were coming here. Do that, please.
Tonight, along a roadway in southern Mexico, a seemingly endless stream of people making their way on foot towards the United States. Men, women, and children walking through pouring rain and sweltering heat. They come from across Latin America, places like Venezuela, Cuba, and Colombia, all with the same goal, immigration to the U.S.
So, as we can see there, that is what was going on at the border under Joe Biden. Okay. And the thing that's funny is that if you have the memory that's longer than, I don't know, a goldfish, you might be able to remember Biden said, I'm not able to do anything. You know, we need to come up with a comprehensive thing to quell what's going on at the border. Here we go. Now, this is from the CBP, which you can end up saying is biased. That's fine. But I'm going to just read it right here. This was put out April 14th of this year. Here we go. March is the second consecutive month in which the U.S. Border Patrol averaged the lowest daily nationwide apprehensions in history at approximately 264 per day in March. This is 20% lower than the 330 daily nationwide average apprehensions in February and 94% lower than the essentially 4,500 per day in March of 2024. Now, here we go. In March 2025, they apprehended essentially 7,200 illegal aliens crossing the southwest border between ports of entry. This constitutes a 14% decrease from February 2025 when they apprehended 8,300 and a 95% decrease from March 2024 when they apprehended 137,473 aliens at the border. Some way, somehow, Trump, let me zoom in on myself here really quick. Some way, somehow, Trump, without any new rules from Congress, no new laws passed, somehow was able to decrease border crossings by 94%. If anybody in my personal life, or if anybody who listens to this video says some ridiculous stuff such as, oh, we needed new laws, I'm just going to tune you out on that because you're clearly drinking the damn Kool-Aid. Okay. Next, I want to jump onto the trans stuff. Ed and Marcus, throw in the clip of him signing the bill when it comes to trans people in sports.
With this executive order, the war on women's sports is over. Under the Trump administration, we will defend the proud tradition of female athletes, and we will not allow men to beat up, injure, and cheat our women and our girls. From now on, women's sports will be only for women.
So, as we can see there, he went ahead and signed that bill, and just overall, just the amount of the ridiculousness, I'm going to put it back on me, just the stupidity of the left on this particular topic. This is what my father would call common sense, but I would also ask him why it is he didn't vote for Trump. It's his tone. That is what I'm told. It's his tone. But boy, if y'all have been raised by this guy, he didn't give a damn about how he said stuff to you. His tone, if you had a problem with the tone, that was you. It wasn't him. And I love him for that. That's why I'm the person I am today. Okay? But that is something that the folks on the left, they can't even answer what a woman is. So, hey, Marcus, throw that clip in. Go find it, clip it, put it on there.
Definition. What is a woman?
I think a woman is somebody who identifies as a woman.
Got it. So that's not a definition. That's like saying a table is something that identifies as a table. Give me an objective definition.
If I decided right now that I wanted to identify as a woman, I would be a woman.
Okay, but that doesn't answer the question.
I know, but right now I'm a man, right? So if that happened right now, I would be a woman.
So
once a person makes the decision to identify as a woman,
got it. No,
they're a woman.
That's a separate issue. What is a woman?
That's the definition.
No, I know, but you have to tell me what.
A person who identifies themselves as a woman.
But you have how do you know that they are that thing? It's called circular reasoning. You have to give me a actual definition.
I don't have to. I did give you a definition.
No. You said that a woman is something that thinks they're a woman. That doesn't give me a definition. What is a woman?
So that's another reason why it is I voted, and I don't regret voting for Trump, because this is stupidity. And then lastly, inflation, the tariffs, and our economy. I'm going to try not to make this a very long-winded thing, but inflation is coming down. That is somewhat because of the tariffs, because it's causing people to kind of pucker up. We are doing that with our money. Our savings rate in this country, as we can see here from CNBC. So inflation has not gone up as the economists, as the experts. Let me make sure I say this again. These are the experts who said, prices are going to surge through the roof. No, it's actually been coming down. One, because we have a weak economy to even start with. Okay, I don't give a damn what those opinion polls say. We have a weak economy to end up starting with. Two, if businesses already know that the consumers cannot afford it, cannot afford to pay more, they aren't going to just be able to just roll those prices on in. You know, as somebody who likes to buy a few gadgets from time to time, I can end up telling you the stuff that I bought from Best Buy, etc., are not more expensive than what they were a year ago. They're actually the same price or lower. But anyway, inflation is coming down, okay? And I have to point this out because I actually tried to find this. I had heard this when I was driving in my car 3 weeks ago. I should have saved it in my phone. So one of the reasons why inflation is coming down that the experts will probably not explain to you, that's because federal government spending has come down. I had heard this, and then I went and verified this with another source. Government spending decreased at an annual rate of 1.4% in the first quarter. Federal spending fell sharply by 5.1%. Now, since the federal government, much like its people, we are living beyond our means and everything else, when they literally monetize the debt, that also helps to push up inflation, because if they did not create those dollars and extend that credit out of thin air, those products, it would be less demand for those products, i.e. the price would not go up, or maybe it might even fall. Okay? So Trump is at least attempting to cut some waste, fraud, and abuse when it comes to government. And I'm sorry to tell you, one, we can't, let me let you in on a little secret. We can't afford the government that we already have. So even though this is cutting around the edges, we're going to have a full-blown currency crisis eventually. But hey, he's at least trimming some of the fat. We'll end up taking that. But also, I have to say this. As we can see here, China's factory activity dropped to 16-month low in April as trade tariffs bite. Now, Future Market is going to cut in a clip. There are people on the ground in China who are walking around who are at manufacturing places, and they are completely empty. Now, I hate to say this, but I kind of feel like Denzel on this one.
Fuck them. Everybody who looks like them.
Yeah. And to the U.S. companies that also sent the jobs over there, I still kind of feel like this when it comes to their profit line.
Fuck them. Everybody who looks like them.
So we're at least hurting our strategic and geopolitical enemy. And
it's all very significant. On April 7th, a TikToker from Foshan visited a newly built factory district and recorded footage of the vacant and neglected factory buildings.
He said, "Look at these factories that were just built last year. Now I can't even find a single person. There are no cars or people on the road. Some of these factories are single-story and others have multiple floors. The landlords spent nearly 1 billion yuan to build these. Just a few years ago, these beautiful buildings were all leased out by middlemen. You had to wait in line to rent a factory space, but now there isn't a single customer coming to view the space. The new factory buildings behind me haven't even been renovated yet because the landlords are afraid of spending money if no one rents them. With the manufacturing industry in decline, every industry is struggling.
And then lastly, now, this is from the White House. Now, the first thing I thought was, this is probably goddamn propaganda. Like, it's going to probably be no hyperlinks to the actual businesses saying that they're investing this and investing that here. Let me say this again. I agree with the tariffs because, one, you cannot send away most of your manufacturing base to Vietnam, Taiwan, China, India, Bangladesh, wherever, and think that that's going to make your society stronger. It may make us slightly richer because it keeps inflation down and it allows you to live a slightly higher standard of living. But at the same time, just the FYI for everybody out there, you know that we have a lot of people in this country who are not smart, for the lack of a better term. And to essentially kind of kick their job out of, to kick their rung out of the ladder is not helping us. Okay. I eventually one day I'm gonna put up a video driving, not through my neighborhood. I live in a suburb, but I'm going to go to places like Youngstown, Akron, Cleveland, Lorain, etc., and drive through these places, and I'm going to let you see the economic bloodbath. Okay, as Trump said, we're going to see that. Okay, but this is crazy. If we can get a lot more foreign investment and also investment here from the companies here to make stuff here and actually employ people here, that's a good thing for the country. So all of these actually link to the actual business with them saying that they're investing X, Y, and Z here. So Apple announces $500 billion investment in U.S. manufacturing training. You click on the link. Again, I was like, man, this shit's probably going to lead me to something about Trump. There we go. So Ed and Mark said to cut out about 10 minutes of stuff because the damn internet went out. This is what happens. But I had thought that these were just complete propaganda from the White House. But if you click on them, they actually do come from the place saying, hey, they're going to intend on essentially investing in man manufacturing here. So that's it. I'm for the border, obviously. I'm against the trans stuff because it's stupid and it's wrong. Okay. 3, I am for us trying to manufacture stuff here again. Not necessarily stuff that you need to, not necessarily stuff that you're going to need to just have to have been through, like my son is going to school for computer science. Not necessarily just where you have to be a bachelor's of computer science to be able to do it. I mean, people putting together cars, people being plumbers, people actually doing the stuff that we need to have done every day to have this country run, not just the stuff that's extremely value added. All right. So no regrets. Nobody I know who voted for Trump said that they regret it, but the media will happily go out and find anybody who does. All right. See y'all in a week. Bye.